Hey guys, welcome to another episode of my show, Just Friends with Abdullah. Thank you for joining me today. So, as you all know, I always like to kind of pick my topics and speak on really kind of like interesting and deep things that can bring us as people together. And today, what I want to talk about is money. Is money the enemy, or are just people bad with it? Let's find out today. You know, as part of the mission of this channel, I try to kind of have conversations that regular people go through every day. The channel is Just Friends, right? And it's a place where I am hoping as a community and as a hub, we're all here comfortable to have conversations as friends and just gathering together and just, really talking about the things that we go through in life. And I've always said this is a two-way street. It's not a one-way street. I don't just here come and speak. I welcome you guys in the comment section to tell me your questions, your thoughts, how you feel, your opinions. But just going back to the main topic, I always focus on how to kind of improve our lives together and how to improve kind of society from a collective standpoint. And one issue I've always seen among all the people that I know, my friends, family, acquaintances, everybody, is the issue of money. And how almost everybody has some sort of problems when it comes to dealing with money, either by not having money, or either by splurging and overspending money, either by being in debt, taking loans to handle money, and many more things. So it kind of got me thinking about the process of how people go through that and why people are really bad with money. And is money truly the evil or the enemy or the devil, as many people call it? Or is it just something that we are as people really bad with? And this is what I want to talk about today, friends. Why are we bad with money? Or why most of us are really bad with money and handling money? That is the main topic of today's show. To put it into perspective, many people that I know, or many friends that I've seen today, they have a serious issue with money. So you see people nowadays, even if they're multimillionaires or even if they have, a lot of money, they end up being broke so fast, way faster than the time they had or collected the money with. And it's crazy, like the equation is so off. You take years and years to build your fortune, and then it can go away in minutes or a matter of days by just spending and doing so many different things. And just not just that, not just the multimillionaires who go through this. Regular people like me and you who live from, check to check, just depending on that paycheck or salary, or having loans or credit cards or, credit loans or whatever you want to call it, being in debt. And it's just a vicious cycle that never ends. And it just made me really want to think about this properly, because a lot of people talk about money and how money really affects people's life and spending behavior and decision making. But where does it all come down to? Why do we all, or not all, because some people are much better than, us in managing their money. But why do most people really suffer from this? If you're somebody who built well, you can lose it in a matter of minutes over, overspending or doing something. If you're somebody who is just trying to build something and do something with your life, you take a loan and you got to find yourself in debt over the silliest things. And that's really where the issue comes. It just got me really thinking about what is the problem here? Why do people have issue with money, right? Is money just something that we can't handle? Or is it just a reflection on that learning or teachings that we had since we were kids, or from our family or our parents, and how we mismanage the wealth? And is it just a syndrome of a bigger problem that we're going through as people? And kind of did a bit of research on that. Just my opinion again. Like I said, no facts, just thoughts and opinions on this channel. Well, maybe some facts, but mainly just thoughts and me sharing my thinking process on a lot of things. And today I'll be sharing my thinking process on why I feel most people really have a big problem when it comes to managing money. So there are different reasons I think we are today having issues in a relationship with with money. And I want to kind of go over what are the causes, what I think are the reasons people really have an issue or kind of have an issue with money, or have a problem with money and have a bad relationship with money, I would say, so to speak. The number one reason, I think, or the number one cause, is that the school system has failed us. Nowadays, I'm not into conspiracy theories. I'm not into kind of putting something that has happened, or there are people, puppet masters playing in the background behind the scenes. But really, the school system has failed us when it comes to managing money. In school, we don't learn things about investing. In school, we don't learn things about building wealth. We don't learn on how to deal with a big amount of cash that comes in our hand. This is really the biggest problem. School is a place where everybody goes to learn, right? From the rich to the poor to the middle class. And a big portion of people that go to school haven't dealt with money before, haven't been able to have certain luxuries, items, certain things that was never available to them. So, of course, when you leave school and you get a job and you get your first paycheck and more paycheck, it becomes a habit in your mind that you want to always buy the goods that you never had access to when you were a child or when you were younger. And it develops and becomes a bigger problem. And I think the schooling system has truly failed us in this regard, because that's where we learn everything, or, that's where we should learn everything to prepare us for the real world, to prepare us for the challenges we're going to face in life. But no education about money, no education about how to even build money, wealth and investment has put us years in behind, has put many people, instead of going forward, it has put them backwards years and years. And today, you see the results by many people having debts, having loans, failing to understand how to invest, failing to understand how to save. It's a pretty big problem. And I think, unfortunately, school, more than anything, had played the biggest role in all of this. Of course, when you learn things from a younger age, it stays on your mind. It marinates. It allows you to kind of get accustomed to it, so you can manage it and take it with you to the real world. But we didn't learn anything about money when we were kids. We didn't understand that. The only time you have access to money is because your parents gave you some, or you were able to spend it on something, a gift. Or over here in the UAE, in Dubai, we celebrate Eid as Muslims, so we get Eid, something called Eidiyah, which is like a money, like a Christmas gift or whatever you would use it for, as an example, and we use that to spend it on something. And we never were taught the education about how to manage our money, how to kind of be there and understand the scope of what money can do for you from a long-term standpoint. Of course, I think one of the best things that nowadays I am hearing that there has been some sort of lessons put in place when it comes to money. But back in my generation, 10 years ago, nobody learned about money in school. And I think till today, there are many schools that don't implement that financial knowledge. Financial illiteracy is a real thing, and it plagues people so much today. But guess what? School is not the only problem here, or it's not the only cause. Number two, on why I think a lot of people are really bad at managing their money, is the good old D word, discipline. Discipline is probably, to me, one of the most important traits a person needs to have to succeed in life. I think discipline trumps everything, because with discipline, you can achieve so much. Discipline is the way for you to do the things that you may not necessarily like, but you definitely need. And I think with discipline, what has money done with discipline is that money has amplified the worst traits in people, right? And when you have money, you can display a lot of lack of discipline or indiscipline, right? And that in itself can be really counterintuitive to what you need to do to be disciplined. Money, in a way, is the test to how disciplined can you be. You see, when you lack discipline, and that's what money does, as a person, when you lack discipline, even if you are somebody that has millions and millions, you will still lack the discipline to succeed with your money, because you just don't have a limit. You continue to spend until your cost or your expenditure crosses your income, right? And then you go into debt and you become broke. And that is something I always say, this is the nature of the world. You cannot defy it. You cannot go against the current of discipline, right? If you are somebody who lacks discipline, you're always going to fall into the trap of being in debt and losing money and being broke. That's just the way it is. You have to learn that and you have to accept that. You have to embrace discipline because that's the only way for you to build wealth and to have a good relationship with money. If you are somebody who lacks discipline in life, right? If you're somebody who cannot commit to the promises that you have made to yourself, right? Which is discipline. If you're somebody that you cannot have, you know that it's good for you, for example, to eat your vegetables and fruits, but you're not disciplined enough to do that to achieve your fitness goals, you're not going to become fit. You're not going to have the body that you want. That is the way the life works. You cannot play with that. You cannot manipulate that. You cannot interfere with that. You get what you are disciplined to. If you're somebody who is not disciplined, you're not going to get what you want. If you are somebody who has built habits of discipline and you're habitual in that and you continue with being disciplined, you're going to be someone who's going to succeed in life based on what you have been disciplined towards. And this is just Mother Nature, how it is. Unfortunately, like I said earlier, money does really amplify the bad traits in people. And lack of discipline is one of them. You know, if you're somebody who does not develop the skills to being disciplined, you are going to regret a lot of things in your life. Discipline is not just one term that applies to money. It applies to so many different things in your life. It applies to fitness. It applies to learning a skill. It applies to doing the things that you don't want, right? But you need to progress. And this skill is not easy to attain, but if you embrace and if you understand and if you build it in yourself, it will take you such a long way, man. Like, you don't understand how it helps. So one of the reasons people really have a bad mismanagement in money is truly their lack of discipline towards their spending, their lack of discipline towards understanding where their money goes or where they're going to put it on, and just having the discipline to save, to invest. It comes down to that. So you as a person, you need to develop that habit. You need to develop that skill, and you need to nurture it, or there will never be a point when you're making as much money as you want. Because if you lack discipline, then you're gonna go broke. Okay, so this is probably one of the biggest one, and for me personally, I think it is the biggest one. My channel does promote togetherness, being close to one another, humanity, understanding one another, helping each other, growing together. But there is one important factor in all of this. You, the person. Before you help someone else, you need to help yourself. Pretty simple to understand, right? You need to value yourself before you help out others. And that is one of the biggest problems when it comes to why people are bad with money. They don't value themselves first. They don't say no to things. They don't say no to those trips and vacations with friends. They don't say no to those extra expenditure when it comes to, night outs and parties. They don't say no when the wife asks them to buy something expensive and they know they shouldn't. They don't say no when they see the latest Jordans out there and they want to get it for themselves. They don't value themselves. And that is the problem. That is probably the biggest problem, I think, when it comes to money. Like I said, for you to help people, or for you to be somebody of assistance, or for you to grow as a person, before you look at other people, you need to look at yourself and you need to value yourself first. And you do not value yourself by saying yes all the time. You don't value yourself by just wasting your money over things that you don't need or doesn't matter to you. That's an issue. That's an issue. People don't value themselves in that way. And I don't mean it in a negative, selfish manner. I think it's good that you understand your value, you understand your worth, right? Because if you don't understand your worth, what is the point of all the hours you're putting in at work and saving that money? What is the point of all those days and all those months that you're putting up with the boss that you hate, or the colleagues that you don't like, or the nagging, or whatever or the sun if you're working outside, or whatever it is you're going through? What is the point if you're not valuing yourself before anybody else? You see, it's amazing, and it's a great thing to help people and be there for them. And again, that is what my channel is all about. I want to be there for people. I want to help them. I want to listen to them. I want to see if I can be of any assistance in any way possible to help them improve their lives and improve us as a society to be closer to one another. But it all starts by help from within, helping yourself being a better person, helping yourself and understanding your value as a person and what works with you and what doesn't work with you. You guys know, and I keep saying this for all the time, and you're probably bored of this. This channel is all about promoting unity, helping each other, being there for each other, growing as a society, growing as people, lessening the conflict, being more together. You know all this. I keep saying it all the time, probably in all my videos. But you can't help others if you can't help yourself. And it starts with you. And what I'm trying to say here is that one of the prime issues of why people are bad with money is because they don't value themselves. How can you help others when you don't value yourself? And what does that mean? That means that you always say yes to everything. That means that you always see your boys telling you, let's go to that vacation, and you go with them. That means you always want to go out and spend that money that you worked hard on something that you don't even need and you don't even want actually, but you're just saying yes because your friends told you to go out. That means going out there and knowing that you cannot spend this $200 or $300 or whatever it might be on the latest sneakers or the latest Apple device when you need it for something else, and saying yes because the wife or the kids or whoever asked you, or your friend bought it and he wants you to buy it with him. You're not valuing yourself, and that's what I mean. Of course, valuing yourself is a lot more than money, but in this context, we're talking about why people are bad with money. And people are bad with money because they don't value themselves first. They don't selfishly look at themselves and be like, you know what? I do not need this. I shouldn't be doing this because this is for me. For me, because it's going to help me for whatever I need to do later with that money. I don't need this right now. It's not important. And you need to value yourself before anything else. Because if you don't help yourself, how can you help others? Or how can you be there for others? Value starts from within, right? Self-value starts from within. It doesn't start from anywhere else. And if you don't selfishly put yourself out there as the first person when it comes to money, how are you going to grow? How are you going to go to a place where you're going to be helping people from a future standpoint, where you're going to be there for people? How are you going to build a business or start a business if you're sending money to right and left and center to everybody who's asking you day and night, right? You want to build that business because you want to be self-sustained, because you want to help people. And that's the idea of having value for yourself, not splurging around, not wasting it on a whim, on a random wish, on a desire. It doesn't work like that, man. It does not work like that. And you need to wake up to that fact. It's super important. You need to be aware. One of the hardest things a person can learn is learning other people's mistakes, or learning from other people's mistakes. And that's because they think they're immune to it. They simply think that it'll never happen to them, right? Because they're smarter, they're more aware, they understand. Until what? Until it actually happens to them. And that's the nature of the world. Learn from other people's mistakes, by people who haven't valued themselves. And that's your biggest learning curve. Look at the people around you, see what they're going through, and learn from that. It's hard. Trust me, it's hard, because you think it will never happen to you because you're smart, because you're going to keep making that money. But guess what? It will happen at some point. It will happen. But how do you avoid that? It's by looking and understanding and observing and learning and avoiding. Everything starts by valuing yourself first. Everything starts by saying no to things. No to things that are related to money. And that's from that point, you can grow. You need to value yourself. You need to put yourself first and understand that you are number one. Reason number 4, not being aware. Listen, I'm not stupid. You're not stupid. we both know that the world is full of assholes. There are people out there trying to gun for you. There are people out there that are trying to get you. There are people out there that are lurking in the shadows somewhere. They're lurking in the shadows, are trying to scam you. This world, look, I believe, I do believe that people from an innate standpoint are good. And this is a topic I'm going to address on my channel at another time. I think people are at heart kind. Most people are at heart kind. But there are also bad people in the world. And these people want to screw with you. And these people want to take advantage or jump on any moment of weakness to get your money or to do something, right? And unfortunately, a lot of people fall victims to these assholes, these, thieves, whoever you want to call it. Just the other day, I had a friend of mine who basically sent some money for an investment on a, some sort of like channel or platform. He sent around $7,000, and they were gone. Like, he sent it. Someone spoke to him, approached him about some sort of like business to invest in like a stock exchange or some sort of like stocks or whatever they are. I'm not sure exactly, but I think some crypto as well. $7,000. He sent it. Excited. He wants to turn that money into more money. Bam. Never saw it again. And this happens a lot. I mean, I'm sure you guys know about all the stories and all the hustling stories that are happening from different scammers around the world, where they kind of steal from people. And yeah, man, the world is full of assholes. Let's be blunt about it. They're full of a lot of bad people that are out there to really mess with you and mess with your hard-earned income, and not being aware, or not just being aware, not understanding that these people exist, and having that mentality that you need to be aware and educated about every step that you do. I think it's a big mistake. Let's put it that way. I don't want to call you stupid if you're not aware. I don't want to call you naive, but I would say you would be ignorant and you would be careless. Of course, everything can be learned through experience, but like I said in my previous point, why do you want to learn that through experience? Because if you're going to learn that through experience, that means you're going to lose money, right? You don't want to go through that. But I think a lot of people are bad with money because of this point. They're just not aware enough. Being aware is understanding where your money goes and understanding every step that you take of what you do with your money and where you're going to invest it in. Nobody's telling you not to invest and not to research and all that. And of course, there are many, many opportunities that you can do nowadays online to invest your money in, in different kind of plans for you to grow your portfolio or your wealth. But being aware means you need to understand where you're putting your money in. And it's like a relationship, right? Having a relationship with money, you need to nurture it. You need to allow it to grow. You need to allow it to blossom. And that's how you're going to be building that understanding. You need to love your wealth and your money, because at the end of the day, this is something that you worked your ass off on. This is something that you really worked hard to spend your sweat and your hard time on it, right? And it's not something that anyone should be taken away from you just like that. So that's something you need to be aware and simply intuitive towards. Be understanding where your money goes and where exactly it's going to be spent on. So if somebody asked me today, of course, just as an imaginary question, if you guys ask me, so Abdullah, what would you do if you wanted to build your wealth or kind of, create money, or how would you approach it, or how would you, work around this, right? And what would you say about overspending or spending money? I would say this. I think at the end of the day, you have to understand that I'm not somebody who's going to be against people who are spending. Live your life, man, as you should. You need to fulfill what you need, but you need to enjoy the life that you have. And I'll never be against you as a person if you want to spend that money and have a good time. But, and here's a very important but if you're somebody who's going to complain and say life is unfair, no, life is not unfair. You did this to yourself, right? You did this to yourself by not understanding and learning the skills of how to manage your money and seeking out a way to fix that problem and cultivating discipline. That is on you. Now, if you're somebody who weren't aware naturally, like I said before. That's fine. It is what it is. You didn't learn in school. There were reasons that you were held back, but now I'm sure you must be aware. I'm sure with the world how it is, with all the content that we see nowadays about how to manage yourself financially, we're talking about financial literacy and building wealth. There is no excuses anymore. It's just that you lack discipline, or you didn't cultivate discipline, or you just don't really care. And if it's those two, then listen, you can never complain about not having money or building wealth, because it's a choice, and that's what you did to yourself. Last thing I want to say about this is there are people that spend money because they or overspend their money is because they want to fill this void within themselves, and the void, they can't cover it, or they can't fill it unless they're spending their money and they're living a certain lifestyle. It's like that girl who was in the VIP section, or was always on the VIP section in a party or in a club, and she can't go to the general section anymore because she got a taste of that VIP section. So it's very hard for her to feel the same, because she's already experienced that part or that lifestyle. And it's the same with people who need that fulfillment through whatever money is giving them fulfillment for, whether it's a certain lifestyle, certain items, or certain purchases, or certain accesses. And that's the thing. I can't, I don't know what people go through. I can't really identify, and I'm not here as well to judge. And I don't really, to be honest with you, I don't really judge nobody in general, because I think everybody has reasons to what they do at the end of the day. Whether it's wrong or right is different, because I don't apply those reasons to my life, and I decide what's right or wrong for me personally. But I think as a general understanding, people do tend to overspend or do live a certain lifestyle because they want to feel something that's missing in theirs. And that's key in understanding what people go through. And why it's hard for them to maybe limit their spending or have that discipline. Because for them, this is what gives them that dopamine rush, right? To feel that happiness. And I really want to say this. At the end of the day, money might be everything, but it's really not everything. Thank you guys for attending with me the show. Please like, subscribe. I'm trying to create more content. It's early days for me. I really appreciate the support. Watch my content. Give me feedback. Tell me your questions. Let me know what you guys want to talk about. I will have, not now maybe, but later, I'm going to have obviously live streams. I'm going to have some sort of, mailbag videos asking you guys what questions you want to ask me. Remember, I talk about pretty much everything and anything on this channel, things that plague us as people. What are the things I feel like we can improve as human beings, and bring us closer to one another, to understand each other, to lessen conflict, and have solutions instead of problems. Thank you for attending today. I hope it was a good content, and I'll speak to you soon. Goodbye.